Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Nate Eaton in our studio, and some breaking news in the Vallow Daybell case. The Judge Steven Boyce has handed down his order, his response to the defense's and prosecution's motion to ban cameras from the Vallow Daybell hearings, and Judge Boyce has granted that request. So all future video and still photographs will not be permitted in upcoming hearings and in the trial. Here's the order. We just got it off of the court system. It was just stamped at 1:06 p.m. Mountain Time, so about an hour ago. This goes back to a motion that was filed by Jim Archibald, Lori Vallow's attorney, about requesting that cameras be banned from court proceedings because at a hearing in August, the camera was focused on Lori, his client, for the majority of the hearing, and he asked that cameras be removed. The prosecution, in an interesting move, backed that request, and Judge Boyce has been thinking about this and working on his ruling for the past week. Working on a story that we'll have up soon at East Idaho News. But if you're just tuning in, yes, cameras banned at all upcoming hearings and in the trial. There will be no cameras, according to Judge Boyce. And he goes through in his motion, 7-page response here about the history of the case, the history of cameras, a little bit of history of cameras in court proceedings, and you know what this means. So I'm just going to get to some of the meat of what he said. While the right to public access must be protected, the scope of the coverage cannot supersede the rights of all parties to the fair administration of justice in this case. Courts have historically struggled with the issue of permitting cameras in the courtroom. Going back for decades, cases have been overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court because of issues relating to extensive media coverage. He says, this is Judge Boyce, in this day and age, the problem is further exacerbated where instantaneous access to coverage provided by traditional media outlets is quickly rebroadcast, repackaged, and reimagined. And then he mentions some movies, documentaries, and dramatizations that have focused on the defendants, Chad and Lori, in this case. He says the court is very concerned that continued visual coverage of this case will impede the ability of the parties to select fair and unbiased jurors. While the court has refrained from delving into viewing this coverage of the case, the coverage is so extensive that the court has had to proactively avoid viewing it, as it is routinely part of local and at times national news. The affidavit submitted by Mr. Wright, our attorney, who the media hired to fight for cameras in the courtroom, he mentioned that there were over 30 clients interested in distributing the footage and hearings of this case. In fully considering this decision, the court notes that the media have raised a compelling issue, public access for people who live in Madison and Fremont County, who this crime happened in their county. How are they going to be able to view the proceedings of this case? Because it's in Ada County. It's 4 hours away. So Judge Boyce said that there will be some reserved seating in the courthouse for residents of Fremont and Madison who are interested in going to the case, going to watch. But he says it's unfortunate that local citizens, including citizens of both Fremont and Madison counties, who bear the cost of this case and should be given local access to this trial should they wish to attend, now cannot do so without inconvenience. They could watch it if cameras were in the courtroom. Upon full consideration of the defendants of the state and defense notably concurring with each other, the court is further persuaded that further coverage of this case will run afoul of the court's consideration. Therefore, in the discretion of this court, authorization of all video and photographic coverage in the courtroom in this case at all future proceedings, including the trial, is revoked. Audio recording of all future proceedings will continue to be permitted, with the court utilizing the in-courtroom microphones operated by court personnel. So I don't know if that means if we'll be able to tap in and carry that live for you, but I'm not sure. We've never just carried audio live, but we might be able to. Any third-party recording will be subject to future approval, and if approved, will be monitored to ensure that microphones are located to ensure the unwarranted conversations between counsel and clients are not recorded. Finally, in order to facilitate the attendance of the trial in Ada County by Fremont County and Madison County citizens who wish to attend, the court intends to provide enhanced access for Fremont and Madison County residents by providing designated seating at the trial in a matter to be further determined. So Obviously, you probably know how I would feel about this decision and how members of the media feel about this decision. And this means we are obviously going to continue to cover it. I've been at every hearing myself in the courtroom. Other media members have come as well, or on Zoom. A lot have been on Zoom. Somebody asked if we can appeal this. You know, in Idaho, it's up to the judge. The judge can determine what happens in his courtroom. So if a judge does not want cameras, that is his right. I don't think there's any sort of appeal process. That's just how it is. I've covered cases in Idaho where a judge allowed us to get video, but no audio. We had to use the court audio, which didn't make much sense to me at that purpose, but we could just get video. There's been other cases where video cameras have not been allowed. They've just been able to take still photos. So I will be going to the trial regardless of when or where it happens. It's supposed to happen in Ada County in January. I'll be there every day. But unfortunately, all of you will not be able to watch unless there's some sort of change. This was a request brought by the defense. The prosecution supported it. Judge Boyce then ruled on it. And if you're just tuning in, no cameras, not even still photos, no cameras at all in the courtroom, but audio will be permitted, but I don't know if he's going to allow that decision to transmit it out of the courtroom. All right, so there you go. That is the latest. We're going to post a story here soon, and we'll let you know how this goes, and keep it right here on East Idaho News.